Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to the March 28th, 2017 episode of AstroEnergy Astrology. So my name is Shelley Overton and I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and I want to know how you are. We will be taking calls here today, and if you want to get a reading, you can call in at 347-994-3365, and if you would like a reading, be sure to press 1 on the keypad, which means you indicate on my window that you want a reading. So how's your week been? Hi, how are you? I am enjoying the weather here. It's been amazing this week. It's 73 right now in Orlando. It was down to 59 last night, so it's chilly for us, but gorgeous day. And I've been feeling the spring. I've been feeling pretty happy and cheerful, and I'm working on some art, which always puts me in a good mood. And we've got Venus in Aries now. The moon is at 12 Aries. We've got 5 planets/lights in Aries. So new, fresh, exciting, sexy, driven. It's a lot of intense masculine energy going on. Even though Venus is there, she is retrograde, which means she forayed into the Aries energy. She is still assertive and really aware of her power and wanting to express power, and agitated at times and excitable and forthright and driven. And then she's going to go in on, what did I say, the second. I don't know why. This is funny. Every single week I get a notice that only during the show that there's a new Java update available, and it always pops up right after I start my show, but no other time. So there you go. It must be associated with the interface for the show. So Venus moves into Pisces Sunday night, and so she, enjoy this power and energy while we have it, because for about 4 weeks she's going to be kind of going back to the old moody, dreamy, kind of not able to put things together energy. She's definitely going to be going into the depths again. It's the watery energy. It's sentimental, emotional, all the Piscean attributes. She will be poetic and artistic and want to go back over the old story, because that's what she does. She archives information and understands things on a larger scale, on a broader scope. She's ruled by, when she goes back into Pisces, she's ruled by Neptune. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and when she goes into Pisces, she and Neptune will both be in Pisces, and that's double power. And Neptune in and of itself is about your dreams. What is the vision you have for your life, and what do you resonate to, your deepest desire? Neptune is a more intense Venus. It's like Venus on steroids. So wherever Venus is in your chart, that's where your deepest heart's desire is. And like your spiritual or esoteric desire, it's the desire you came into this earth to manifest and to pursue. So when Venus, which is also desire on a more transient, superficial scale, I would say, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not superficial, but it's not as intense and deeply motivated as Neptune. But Venus is still desirous. So when she goes back into Pisces, she basically adds her power to Neptune and vice versa. So they are both working in tandem to understand the story, understand the hook. So if you have a situation where you seem hooked in, where you have been addicted or can't seem to pull away, and you thought you had pulled away, guess what? It's coming back. And it's only coming back for a short period of time, just till Venus gets back into Aries, which is going to be the 29th of April. So it's really just 4 weeks of this, thankfully. Honestly, I mean, I have Saturn in Pisces, I have Neptune in my first house, I have strong Pisces energy in my chart. But let me tell you, I'm ready for it to be done. I'm over that kind of mopey, sad energy that Pisces can bring sometimes, and especially at end degrees of Pisces, you're going to feel probably a little more depressed. You're definitely gearing up to let go of something. And being the feminine, there's some type of deep emotional connection that you have been banging the drum of for a very long time. And as Venus hits those last degrees, she's really saying, take a last look around before you move on. And so we're going to get that starting April 3rd, or actually 2nd into the 3rd. So we'll have it for 26 days, and we'll be talking a lot about it, I'm sure, because every week it'll be like she'll still be retrograde in last degrees of Pisces. We'll still be seeing a lot of people transitioning out of this world because that is the final energy of the zodiac. The zodiac begins at 0 degrees Aries and ends at 29 Pisces. So that is the completion degree. Okay, so right now, though, the sun is at 7 Aries, moon is at 12 Aries, which means that overnight the moon has gone over the sun and they've combined. It's called combust. And so they think alike. It's so, I love Anne Ortley's way of putting it. They meet up. So every month they meet up and they say, hi, how are you? And they exchange information, and then the moon moves on because the moon's a fast girl. And so moving on to Uranus, which is the next body in the sky that she's going to directly hit. I mean, she is transiting the whole sign, which means she also hits all the other planets. She'll be squaring Pluto today. And probably, I would say in a few hours, about 4 or 5 hours from now, she'll be directly squaring Pluto, which can mean another headbutting between women and authority. And it's also, in Aries, it brings out deep emotional energy around mom and a conflict with authority, which also Aries is the police and Capricorn is structure. So having the emotions in the moon and the sun, which is ego, and Venus, which is desire, all within that 9 degrees there at the beginning of Aries, is going to bring out a lot of aggressive emotion. And usually that means that somebody's going to act out and do something, coupled with the idea that Uranus is at 23 Aries at the end degrees, opposing Jupiter, and joined with Mercury 3 degrees later from Uranus. Mercury is right there next to Uranus, and they're both very fickle, very unpredictable energies. So when you have that also squaring Pluto, it's combustion. So you're going to have some type of emotional explosion. In Aries, it needs to act out. And my daughter's in Aries, and she's always been, I would say, more physical in how she expresses herself. She has Mercury in Pisces, which is very quiet and accepting. But she has Mars in Sag, and she has Sun in Aries. So she's got some fire in her chart. And when she was younger, we had her in karate and everything. She learned the karate moves, and she used to, since she doesn't talk as much because she's very nonverbal usually with the Mercury in Pisces, her Mars is in a fire sign and her Sun is in a fire sign, and that is acting out and wanting to hit. So whenever my son would give her a hard time, she didn't have the words to express herself and defend herself, so she would always whack him. She'd slap him. And he's like, she's hitting me, and I'm like, you can't do that, Julie. Stop hitting your brother. So that's how Aries needs to express, because a lot of the time when you have Aries as a rising sign, the 12th house is Pisces. So there's a lot of stuff going on subliminally and not as forthright, not as forthcoming. So when you get to Aries, a lot of the times the signs will make up, each one in succession makes up for the one before. So where Pisces is very quiet, demure, and a go along sign, Aries says, no, I've got the attitude, I've got the drive, and I'm going to act out. So that energy is super powered today. 5 planets and lights are in Aries. That's half the zodiac. So it is a fire energy. You're going to see fire. You may see an explosion in fire, and I would not be surprised if something explodes today. And Uranus rules chemicals, so a chemical explosion is a possibility, or something that has a chemical makeup, nuclear. All of that is under Uranus, and the moon is coming up. First it hits Jupiter retrograde, and then it hits Uranus. So actually it hits Jupiter, which today is in square to Pluto as well, because they're both at 19 degrees. So we've got a direct square, not to the minute, but to the degree. And Jupiter will be coming into perfection, meaning it will get to the exact degree that Pluto is at. Here, let's just look at when that is. Pluto is at 17. I'm in the wrong month here. I'm doing it by book today. I don't have to, but I've got actually a digital ephemeris on the computer as well. But I thought I'd just look at it. So it's going to be the 31st. 30th to the 31st, which is Thursday and Friday. Generally, it happens right before or right after. I mean, yes, you can have an exact hit and have it happen at exactly that moment, but definitely the days on either side of an exact, and it's 11:11, make a wish, at least in the Eastern time zone. That means the angels are listening, and so you can get your wishes, which are awesome. So definitely Thursday and Friday are going to be really charged days. We also have the moon transiting into Taurus tomorrow. So today is the 27th. We had a new moon. No, not the 27th. Oh my gosh, 28th. Yesterday was the new moon in Aries. And let's see here. So I'm just looking to see when it goes into Taurus. So Taurus, Wednesday, the moon goes into Taurus at 11:48 a.m. Then Mercury trines Saturn at 2:16 p.m. So Mercury in Aries, Saturn in Sagittarius, Saturn. And this, I do say pay attention, because I don't know if there are other astrologers who actually say, hey, a trine can be difficult, but I find a trine, an initial trine energy to be difficult, and then you get something beneficial afterwards. But there's always like this, some event that is uncomfortable or isn't what you want, or may even be a moment in time that you'll remember, not always in the positive sense. So with Mercury rules accidents and contracts, things like that. So yes, contracts definitely being signed around this time is likely, because Saturn is career and Mercury can incline you to do the actual contract. But there's something that isn't necessarily being said, or isn't said the way you like, or there, you can have a conflict or an event that is a transient event, but it gets your attention, and then you'll have something following it that is more in alignment and more comfortable, but it can mean something's going to get your attention. On Thursday, we have Jupiter squaring Pluto exact at 2:19 p.m. So that's the exact time that it hits on Thursday. And of course, Jupiter is transitions. Definitely a peak moment for relationships, saying, this just isn't working, and we'll probably hear about a high-profile breakup at that time. And then so many different things, but also education and writers. Writers could definitely be affected by this energy right now. And moving on. So that pretty much encapsulates what's going on with all this energy. It's just really combustive, really, we're all kind of on edge or wanting to act out. So tantrums are going to be big for the next probably week. Mars is at 13 Taurus and is in positive trine to Pluto. So again, having the trine, you're going to see some kind of acting out, some kind of event, and then something comes positive from it. But is going to get attention. Mars in Taurus is money, finances, stock market, real estate ventures around property, large, like estates can be covered on. It can also. So I definitely use both Sagittarius and Taurus for real estate. So if you're looking to sell real estate, Sagittarius's ruler is retrograde in Libra, so that can also be property related to marriage, although it's not in the sign of property for marriage, which is Scorpio. It will be going there at the end of the year, so if you're looking for property shifts and changes. Also, October is going to be really big for that. And then Mars in Taurus just means taking a lot of action. It's like where our drive is now. And Taurus is a slower energy. It takes more time to really process what's going on, and it doesn't rush. So you may find that everything seems to have slowed down a bit, and definitely after Sunday with Venus and Pisces, slower is going to be the way, because that Pisces energy is also very sluggish with drive. So let's see, we have Saturn at 27 Sagittarius. Saturn is getting ready to go retrograde also, I think the 6th of April. Let me see. Yeah, 6th of April. Let's look it up, get the exact information on that. It goes at 1:06 a.m., let's see, Eastern, and 10:06 p.m. on Wednesday night next week, Pacific. So it's coming up right between Wednesday and Thursday. And Saturn retrograde means that will also be another event day. It will have a shift around career, a shift around structures. I find that there is a lot going on with construction with Saturn and also Pluto. So when either Saturn or Pluto in Capricorn retrograde, you will see a lot of construction events happening or halting or, things like that. So I find that really interesting. I wonder what's going to happen with the pipeline, because Saturn going retrograde is definitely going to be a halt to construction. And but also not only that, but also whatever goes on with people of foreign descent or foreigners to a country, immigrants, things like that, are definitely under Sagittarius. Travel, hopefully you're not going to be traveling on the 6th, because that is not a day I would want to be traveling because of the shift. Not that anything bad is necessarily going to happen to you. With so many flights, I wouldn't be like, oh, mine's going to be one that's kind of the one. But definitely Sagittarius is long distance travel, and I always assign it to airline travel, and Saturn structure and earthbound. So if you're looking to get up, you might have some weather issues coming. Let's see, the 6th and the 3rd. Yeah, Venus into Pisces, that's probably going to be more wet weather for spring. And yeah, Jupiter is in an air sign retrograde, so that's not going to contribute a great deal to that kind of energy. But definitely Uranus and Aries with the moon hitting it. So I would say, this is what I say, and I also saw yesterday, Queensland is having a tropical cyclone, a Category 4 hitting it yesterday, I believe. I haven't really looked to see how that's going. I hope everybody there is okay in Australia. But definitely with a combination of the moon, Uranus, Mercury, and then as the sun ekes closer, all that power in Aries combined, which Uranus is storms, combined with Venus going back into Pisces, that, and then Saturn on next week. It's definitely some intense weather, and probably fire energy is going to come up with Saturn retrograding. Fire, and then something with earth and fire. So anyway, let's see, what else do we have? Do we have anything else? Just Pluto in Pisces. The south node's at 3 degrees Pisces. The north node's in Virgo, which is the axis of health, wanting to find new health ways. And right now, with an Aries, a natural chart, Virgo is the sign of health and medical issues. And definitely with Mars and Taurus and the North Node in Virgo, we're needing to find something that is more positive health-wise, digestion-wise, because Virgo rules the digestive system. So it's more, and Taurus, Mars and Taurus rules eating and food and the kind of food we eat, agriculture, things like that. So the combination is, it's a positive time to get on a healthier diet. right now. And then also Saturn and Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules the body in a physical sense from the waist down. It's about running. It's about hiking. It's about getting out in nature. That also reinforces, hey, it's at the end degrees. We really need to get on this train and find out what's going on. Saturn retrograde, though, in Sagittarius, to me, does act more positive, more expansive and flirty, and more like Jupiter. So, we're going to see after that shift, I think we're going to see probably more like, well, I don't really want to be all structure oriented. I don't want to be restricted. And, it gives us more opportunity to see the positive side of things. And let's see. And as long as Jupiter's retrograde in Libra, it is about relationships, and it's about the distance or the transition, and what are we going to do about that issue? Even though Jupiter is in positive aspect to the sign and close to the degree. I mean, it's within 8 degrees of orb. As Saturn goes retrograde, it'll be within the 8 degrees. I use 8 degrees of orb, meaning they're within 8 degrees either side of an aspect. So that means that Saturn will be within 8 degrees of a sextile to Jupiter. And he will also be going back towards Jupiter, which can help really understand the other person's point of view a little bit more and work in tandem. But it's also going to bring up issues around, hey, I'm doing this. Are you doing something that's benefiting me? And we're going to see some of that too during this retrograde. Okay, so what's our topic today? I haven't really reviewed it. I think it was a square between Jupiter and Pluto. And so the square between Jupiter and Pluto, again, it's about structure. It's about finding out deep information, things that may have been hidden. Jupiter wants stuff to come out, but retrograde, it acts more like Saturn. So it's acting like taking you to task. What are you doing in the relationship? What is the structure of the relationship? So it can mean there are issues around career that we've been trying to deal with and how it relates to where we're at in our relationship, in our partnership, or in our marriage. What is the balance that we have within that partnership or that marriage? Are we getting our needs met? Definitely, are we getting our needs met? That's Jupiter. It wants to find out about the things it's interested in. And when it's in Libra, what am I getting out of this? I've been giving so much to it. Am I getting something back? Pluto square is going to mean that there are issues that can either be hidden or need to be researched and found out that are associated with career, are associated with organizations, a boss, taking ownership within the company, any fears that you have, those can be addressed. Having Uranus squaring Pluto, the moon conjunct Uranus, and Mercury, which just squared Pluto, added to the mix, means that we have a different way of thinking about things and looking at it in an effort to take action on it. So the Aries energy is also the energy of the emergency worker. So again, cops, firefighters, things like that, EMTs, they're all going to be triggered this week as well. And Pluto, who's in charge? Did you know about this? How could this happen? That kind of energy is coming out with the square. So again, that's all coming up this week. And let's see if there's anything else. Musicians. Okay, my usual suspects: musicians, comedians. Let's see, anybody in the travel industry, anybody in hospitality, foreign affairs, export, import, anything like that. So if it deals with foreign countries, foreign goods, or relationships, even distance, really a big part of this is distance. Is it the distance of emotion or the distance in physical aspect? So anyway, that's a big heads up for what's going on this week. And I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to come back and take calls. If you want to have a reading, just raise your little hand, and you can call in at 347-994-3365, and I will see you on the other side of the break as soon as I figure out what I'm going to play. Hang on. There we go. In these days of stress, running around, responsibilities, we all need a little place to go to make it all better. Is that place sports, football? Or maybe you like to garden, paint, or just listen to music. Wherever your happy place is, you can find a shirt or mug to reflect that happy place. At myhappyplace.rocks, we have a variety of lifestyle products, including iPhone cases, pajamas, and pet items, all with beautiful, colorful designs, which help us go to our happy place. Stop by on the web for great gift ideas for others and yourself. myhappyplace.rocks. Lenny Pickett appears courtesy of Random Act Records. Check them out at randomactrecords.com. Hey, welcome back. This is Shelley Overton. I am an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. If you are interested in getting a reading with me, I would love to do it for you. I give a really thorough reading. I record it, and you get a copy of the recording after the reading, so you can listen to it over and over, and you can get that at astrologerangel.com. There is a tab on the top that says Readings, which will give you a list of all the different types that I have and all the products and services. And then there's also a list. If you click the red button on the lower right-hand corner, it says Schedule Now, but it isn't like the second you hit it, you're being charged anything. It will show you the different options, and it just gives you the chance to see what my services are as well. Anyway, I just wanted to also mention Lenny Pickett. If you don't know who Lenny Pickett is the actual saxophonist who plays with Saturday Night Live and the Saturday Night Live band. And he is actually one of the musicians that my friend Scott, who has a record company, Random Act Records, he produced one of his CDs recently, and he's an amazing musician. Of course, he runs the band at Saturday Night Live. So if you have a chance, please go over there and check out the music, because it's so relaxing and nice to listen to. So anyway, that's all the advertising we have for today. So let's get to the phones. Let's see who we have here at 510. Hi, 510. Who's this?
Oh, this is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Have you called the show before?
No, I've never called the show.
Oh, okay. Are you a Sarah A or a Sarah H?
H.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm very protective of my second E in my name, so I always want to make sure I get the right information from people. Okay, so first, what's your birthday? And we'll get that, and you can tell me what you'd like to know about today, okay?
So it's
birthday
July
first.
9th to 19th.
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, it's July 9th, 1960, 4:20 in the afternoon, p.m.
Oh, okay.
Hamilton, Ohio, Butler County.
Okay. All right, let's see if I can get that without losing your birthday, which always seems to happen when I enter it. Yay, we did it today. What do you know? I have a glitch in my program. It always deletes the birthday when I enter the place. So, but it didn't do it today, so we're on a good star. Okay.
Yay.
Yeah, so what can I do for you today?
I've been kind of lost as far as my career or my purpose in life, and I have been for a while now.
Mm-hmm. What's a while?
I am,
like a year or 2 years?
Definitely a couple of years.
Okay.
I'm a jeweler by trade, but
nice.
I'm really passionate about astrology, and so I want to get certified in it, but I got myself into a financial situation where I've just working, and having just really hard. I haven't been doing my jewelry because it wasn't supporting me. It's a long story, but but I know that Neptune's on my IC and has been hanging out there for a long time. Anyway, I've got a lot of major transits going on, but
yes,
I've been moving, and since I've been kind of like, also my home has been an issue for the last couple of years.
Of course, right? With that Neptune.
but yeah, I moved 2 years ago, and I moved in January, and then I moved 2 weeks ago. I'm trying to get myself settled, and so anyway, it's. What do you see?
Well, definitely Jupiter at 26 degrees retrograde in your natal chart in your first house with Saturn about to retrograde right into it. Are you in the right place for you? You said you just are moving out or moving in to where you're at?
I've been moving. I moved out. I had to move out of where I was
Okay.
in January, and
Okay.
I tried to go to one place, and then that didn't work out. So now I'm in another place.
Mm-hmm.
I moved here 2 weeks ago because I needed to work, and so I've been doing like Ubering and lifting just to survive.
Okay. Oh, okay. Is this in the same place you live? Is this the same
No, so
location?
yeah, I'm in LA. I was in Oakland. I was in the Bay Area for like 30 years, and
Okay.
cause it just kept getting pushed out by the real estate landlords who are trying to capitalize. So I've been relying on friends, actually. That's how I ended up down in Southern California.
Okay.
I went to the desert, and that didn't work out. I couldn't find work, so I moved to LA through contacts. I've found a place to stay, but it's just it's been a struggle I've been applying for jobs, but no response.
Well,
even in my industry.
Definitely your chart shows that you have a very strong energy around moving, and I'm thinking probably farther away. How long have you been in LA? When did you move down to LA?
2 weeks.
Oh, you just moved there. I thought you moved within the city. You moved down there. Okay, good.
No,
that's good.
I went from Oakland, to the desert in Southern California. We're 2 hours away from here, like Joshua Tree, and then I moved to LA 2 weeks ago.
Okay, because you're saying you're kind of still moving within the state, and I'm wondering if you're even in the right state. Have you ever thought of moving farther north?
No.
Well, that's interesting. No.
Seattle, or you mean
something on the coast with the Neptune ruling your IC, water. You are near water now, but the midheaven. So as you look at the chart, your rising sign's in the east. The west is the other side, which is upside down for a map. If you think of a map, east is on the right, west is on the left. This is opposite. So if you go to the bottom becomes the north, and the top is the south. So you've got Neptune, which would be, on a map, would be north and near the water. And you've also got Saturn moving closer to your natal Saturn. So in a year, you're going to have like a Saturn return. And
oh joy.
Yeah, but you know what? What the Saturn return for you is Saturn's in Capricorn in the house, which is jewelry, because the second house is beauty. It's aesthetics. And so having a Saturn return means, what are you going to do about this? Is this what you truly want to earn a living? And Saturn's on your Jupiter right now, which is long distance move. You chose south, so that's okay. It's not bad, but pretty much in your chart, every planet, with the exception of Jupiter, is in the lower half of your chart, which is, the northern part of your chart. And Jupiter will be going into the last house in the southern part, and it'll start being transiting up on the northern part of your chart. So I'm thinking that while you moved, you kind of went the wrong direction, honestly. But not that you can't make it happen. I shouldn't have said it like that. I feel bad. I'm not saying that you can't get something out of it. Definitely Neptune. LA has a very strong Neptune vibe because it's movies, which Neptune rules.
Yeah.
So there is a
very
connection
dreamy.
there. Yeah. I'm just concerned that really with Neptune on your south node, within 5 of your south node in the house of home and family, you're going to relive what you've already lived, which is you came into this world, the past life is Piscean. You are very connected to the water, very connected to psychic phenomenon, a certain amount of illusion. So I see that you do have that, but in your chart, all of the shifts and changes, well, there's a couple things. Neptune in your third house could trigger some connection to the movie industry, definitely with, like, I don't know if you do any writing. Or have you ever done any writing? Even if
No,
it's
I've
poetry
had people
or music or something?
I've kind of got a block about writing. People keep telling me I should write a book because I've done all kinds of, my life has been kind of crazy in the past 10 years. But
right.
I have a block, but I did start
right.
writing what's the poetry with the 17? I'm blanking. I started writing
the
17 syllables.
Syllables. Okay.
You know, the Japanese.
Not haiku. Haiku? Not haiku.
Haiku.
Is
Yeah,
it haiku? Oh, I was thinking.
Started writing
it is. Okay.
Haiku.
Oh, that's very cool. I've done a little haiku myself. I have Saturn and Pisces, so I totally get the Pisces stuff. Well, okay, so what I'm seeing here, the south node is within 2 degrees in the sky right now. The south node's within 2 degrees of your Chiron in the house of communications. And then Neptune is within 5 of your natal south node. Everything's in Pisces, but what I'm most concerned about is the Neptune at the end degrees of your house of communication. And since it rules film and you move to a film town, definitely if you wanted to channel and just sit down and start writing stuff, you've got that ability. And the other thing, so everything in your chart right now is kind of showing me that at this very moment, it's aesthetic. It's about arts and music, and it could be about jewelry, but you have a Mars return literally like within a few days. You've got Mars at 13 in the sky and Mars 14 in your chart. So that's in your house of work too. Again, the Taurus/second house connection for you is beauty and aesthetics and art. So, Neptune again also rules amazing artistic talent. So having it there, it's in the house of communications. Are you expressing it? And I know you had a difficult time, but really what Saturn is doing on your Jupiter and Pluto within 5 of your natal Saturn in the house of money is having you look at your deepest fears about what it is you truly want to do. It's presenting them to you. And I can tell you, I have nuances of my career that are very much like, how much are you willing to give to this? Like, you feel like you've given it all and you've just been restricted, which is your Saturn. But then at some point you go, okay, well, is this all I'm going to be in my life? Is this all that is going to happen from what I feel like I've been here to do? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I feel like the astrology is what happened was that a couple of years ago just drew me in, and I'm really passionate about it. And at the same time that I started to really understand myself through my chart and really get passionate, I shut down on my current jewelry line that I've had for a while.
Right.
But I feel like there's a third piece. And I don't, but you're not mentioning the astrology at all. So maybe it's just something I'm supposed to know.
No. You have, so there is astrology in your chart. You have Leo in Uranus in Leo in the house of education. So definitely there's an attraction to having some type of education around astrology because that's the ruler of that. You have Moon in Aquarius, which is also an inclination to do it. It's in your house of money. You could do it. You have Saturn in Capricorn, which to me usually reflects more around the elderly or structures and systems. It's more conservative, but it's also in Taurus, which is the jewelry. So for me, looking at your chart, yes, you have an interest in astrology. You probably could earn a living in astrology. Does your chart scream astrology to me? Not necessarily, but it isn't something that you need to ignore. Uranus is going, I'm looking at your chart and I'm seeing it's much more about connecting. Astrology connects you to your childlike spirit and a sense of whimsy and wonder that you had as a child. right now Uranus is
Oh.
in your fifth house, and your natal Uranus is in Leo, which rules the fifth house. So the connection in your chart for astrology to me is much more about it's a creative play energy for you. And then you have the moon there, so there's also a connection to mom somehow. Did mom do astrology, or was she a little more eclectic or eccentric, or what was the quality that mom had that may have made you feel like that is a comfort thing for you? So those are the energies around astrology in your chart for me. And right
Well,
now,
my mom
Jupiter.
no.
Oh, go ahead.
She's very kind of New England conservative, and she basically told me she thinks I'm an alien. I don't fit in. I'm the black sheep of the family for sure.
Yeah, same.
And but yeah, I do have a problem with play. I do have a definitely a hard time allowing myself play.
And that's really huge for Saturn going retrograde on your Jupiter. I mean, for me, like I said at the beginning of the show, Saturn kind of turns into Jupiter when it retrogrades, especially in Sagittarius. And so as Saturn's retrograde in Sag, it hits your Jupiter in Sagittarius. I mean, like, it doesn't get any more clear message. Along with Uranus, Mercury in Aries in your fifth house, all the fire signs are the children of the zodiac. So they want to play. Leo enjoys spending time with children, has a childlike nature, is very youthful. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It represents small children. And then Sagittarius is a very fun-loving, optimistic, youthful energy as well. So that is strong triggered in your chart with Saturn, Uranus, Mercury, and then Sun, Moon all in Aries, and Venus in Aries. Everything is like, would you just play already? And I understand that conservative nature, the Saturn in Capricorn, and having the mom who is conservative, it's the same thing. So and then you also have Mars in Taurus, which is very responsible, and you have a midheaven that's a Virgo. So you are responsible, but the universe is drastically trying to get you to play. I think that you're going to meet somebody who could be a partner for you, and I think that might actually be the key, because Jupiter in Libra is up in your house of soul groups, and that's going to expand your ability to connect to people, your networking. So if you focus on a little more playfulness, and now that you're in LA, you have a lot more resources. Well, not necessarily. I mean, the Bay Area is tremendous for resources too. But, down there, you can get another group of people who have similar interests and get out and about. With Jupiter up there in the house of networking, it wants to get out and play. It's going to go direct not too long. I hope it's not too long. Actually, it's June, which is a little bit long. It's about, 8 weeks, 9 weeks? In about 9 weeks, it actually goes direct. So once it goes direct, it's pretty much all bets are off. It's out there to connect to people. That's what you want to do. And I would honestly take tremendous advantage of the ability to network with people where you're at, because I'm guessing you also have, oh my God, you need to do something with the film industry, even if it's getting your jewelry into a film or on somebody. But you're going to meet people. You're right here at a precipice to meet people. Jupiter in the house of networking, when it goes direct, it goes into Scorpio. It'll be the last degrees of networking, so it's kind of shifting who you were being friends with and hanging out with professionally and going into a new group. And when it does, let me tell you, Jupiter hits your Neptune in your 12th house. Again, that rules film. It rules deep connection and expansion of your intuitive nature. And that's what I want to say about your chart. You have a really strong intuitive nature with the Neptune in Pisces in the house of communication. So you're tuning into things. You need to go with what you're starting to draw into your life based on dreams, based on desires. You need to play more, because play is where you're going to get your answers. Okay? When you start to let loose and stop trying to hold on to the conservative, I have to have a job and make it happen a certain way, the people you need to meet are right there ready to be in your life and help you. And start telling people what you do. So whether it's astrology, if it's astrology and you want to do astrology, then start, going when you're out socially, going, what's your sign? I dabble in astrology. Let me tell you a little bit about who you are, and do that. And another trick I would tell you, I shouldn't say trick, knowing the cycles of Saturn really helps too, because Saturn is life purpose, Saturn's career. So if you can gauge, it's every 2.5 years Saturn changes signs. So if you use yourself as a gauge, know that, okay, in 1960, Saturn was in Capricorn in the middle of the sign. A year from then, it was close to the end, about a year and a quarter. So if you meet someone, they say, well, I was born in 65. Oh, well, Saturn was 5 years down the road. It goes 2.5 years through signs. So 2 signs over, you probably had Saturn in Pisces, which actually is where it was. So, if you can do a little mental calculation real quick, you can use that as a way of keying into even more deeper evaluation of a person. You can say, oh, well, you had Saturn in this side. Well, that means, something like that. But just talking to people and starting to really network is seriously where you're going to meet your future. I guarantee you.
Okay. Well,
and you've got
I'm out there
networking
Ubering and lifting, so.
Well, how much do you start chatting and find out what people do?
A little bit. Sometimes some people don't want to talk, and some people do.
I understand.
And so I do. Some people are very curious and want to know, what do you really do? They'll say to me, like, well, you don't belong in there.
The other thing you do, since you're basically in a mobile, spotlight, you put your jewelry on, and then maybe hang a little charm of your sun sign from the rearview mirror, and then people go, "Oh, are you?" And they say, "Well, what sign is that?" "Oh, well, that's this." Are you interested in astrology? Like, whatever. Like, you use the format that you're doing to try and connect to people. So, I'm telling you, Uranus is going through your house of friendships and creativity, and that is broadcast. That's what Uranus does. It wants to broadcast. You need to broadcast it. On top of it, it's in trine to your natal Uranus. This is about broadcasting. And then having Jupiter in your house of networking also is wanting you to be more outgoing with people. I mean, that combination alone. But definitely being in LA, do it. Go ahead.
Nothing. I tend to be very reserved, and so I have to make an effort too.
I understand. Yeah, it's Saturn in Capricorn, but you're going to feel better in the next couple months with Saturn retrograde. It's going to make you a little bit lighter. And when it goes direct, it's racing back towards Capricorn at the end of the year. So you've got until then. It's going to probably be a little bit more serious at the end of the year with Jupiter in Scorpio and Saturn in Capricorn in December. But it's going to be a deeper shift and something more potent, especially for you when Saturn goes into Capricorn. It hits your money house. And it's basically saying, I'm telling you, Saturn on your Jupiter and Saturn in your money house are saying, this is where I have to be, what I need to do. And if you listen to your intuition, which that Neptune is really lighting up for you, again, Neptune's still within orb of a trine to your natal Neptune. And again, the Pisces-Neptune connection in your 12th house, you're in la-la land. So it's all about movies. Neptune rules movies. So there could be something there. But I would definitely start just casually talking to people, having little hints of what you do in your car when you pick people up.
Great. Well,
okay.
That sounds, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, thanks for the call. Can I ask you real quick where you heard about the show?
I've been listening to you. Where did I hear about you? I maybe through Blog Talk, because I got on to Blog Talk, and I can't remember if it was through the podcast or through the Blog Talk, because I listened to Ann Ortley and
she's awesome.
and so, but I'm on your face. I've been listening to you for a while. It's just like every week I'm like, I forgot. I got to get up in the morning.
I know. I'm 8 a.m. for you, aren't I? I'm sorry, but yeah, it's just the best time for me. But archives are always good too, unless you want to get a reading, of course. But yeah, the archives, you can hear a lot of, if you do astrology, then you pick up stuff too, listening to the archives. So.
Oh, I do. I'm just hungry for anything astrological. I'm just constantly listening while I'm driving. So I listen to all your
Great.
past ones.
Uh-huh.
And
Thank you.
I just think you're very gifted.
Oh, thank you very much.
So,
I appreciate that. Well, you never know. I mean, like I talk to people all the time, and I never know what level they're able to understand, and I talk fast, and it's a lot of information. So, thank you for letting me know, having some feedback. I appreciate it.
well, thank you very much for
You're
your
welcome.
service.
Okay, well, take
So,
care, Sarah, and it's going to be okay. Saturn going into your second house on your natal Saturn, a Saturn return, it's basically the universe saying, are you paying attention? It's time to own what it is you want to do. And if it is astrology, then learn astrology. Jupiter's out there wanting you to in your house of astrology, which is the 11th house. Okay?
okay. Well,
Okay.
thank you very much.
You're welcome. Take care. Call again. All right, bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, let's see who else we have here. See if I can do it without screwing up my studio board. Okay, there we go. Hi, 347. How are you?
Hi, Shelley. It's Asiba.
Oh, let me see if I can find you. Do I have you called in?
Yeah, you probably just have me as Siba, S-I-B-A.
Okay. Yep, there you are. Gotcha. What can I do for you today?
I just came back from a trip. I went to Atlanta for a few days. I used to live there a long time ago, and I'm contemplating if I should move back. And the only thing that's kind of stopping me is knowing how long my job is going to give me a transfer, and also that I'm kind of dating someone now, and I like them a lot,
Okay.
so I don't know if I've moved so far.
Right. Well, definitely the end of the year is going to be a make or break for that relationship, because Saturn moves out of your house of marriage and commitment, or marriage and partnership, into the house of commitment. So, and it's going to be right on your Neptune, and that is your ideal situation. So, right now, Saturn and Sagittarius, you definitely have the long distance relationship connected to your chart. You have Saturn and Uranus and Sagittarius in your house of marriage and partnership. So both of them are very strong energies around needing freedom and having Saturn and Sag. Saturn is a restrictive energy, but Sagittarius is a freedom seeker. So, and it's also retrograde in your chart, which, like I said, when Saturn goes retrograde, it acts more like Jupiter. So a lot of freedom is wanted, but your house of commitment, you really want to know that that person is there for you. And when Saturn goes in December, that's going to be the subject. It's like, what's going on? Is this what I want or not? And definitely it's ownership of your dream around commitment. So you've got Neptune in that house. So, yeah, as far as moving, like I said before, in your chart, all of the planets right now are in the southeast part of your chart. So, yeah, definitely you could move there if you want. You've got a lot of energy being poured into it right now. Really, Uranus is the only one that's going to stay. Well, not totally true. Neptune is also in that quadrant of your chart. So that means that Neptune is in your house of career as well. It's up 10th, 11th, and 12th houses are the southeast. So that's where 5 planets are right now, and 6 actually with Neptune, and 7 with Mars in your 12th. So I can understand that, but Mars will be moving into the northern part too. So I don't know where, are you in the north right now?
Yes, I live in New York.
Okay. So, if you want to move to the southeast right now, if you move there, you're going to have a lot of energy pouring into that.
I'm trying to aim for towards the when the kids go back to school, like in August.
Right.
From that time. It's just really my job, because even the relationship. I know a little bit about his astrology, and I know he has a Pisces rising and stuff like that.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just try August. We'll just go to August 28th and see what's going on there. Okay. And then I'm going to do your chart real quick. My problem is it's good for readings individually, but it's bad for on the air because I really get deep into my charts and it eats up the time. So I should probably rein that in because I do have a few more callers today I really want to get to. But so let me look at August and see what's going on in August for you. By August, you're going to want to be in, hold on, I've got to reverse this in my mind. East, see, that's south, north. Yeah, the northwest actually is going to be more highlighted than the west and northwest. Yeah, I mean, you'll still have connection to the southeast if you want to, because Neptune will still be there and Uranus will be right on your Jupiter. So if you moved to Atlanta, there's a lot of energy around soul group and connecting and a lot of sales. So I don't know what you do, but sales could be.
I work in the airport. I work
You have Saturn and Sagittarius. I was going to say before you told me, like Saturn and Sagittarius, something with travel or moving, and
Yeah, I work in the airport for TSA, so it's the government and it's travel. So it's like a little bit of both.
Yeah, well, that in your chart is still very strong with Pluto and Capricorn and Saturn and Sagittarius, and Saturn is going to be there till the end of the year, and then it goes into Capricorn. So I don't think. I mean, that, yes, there is an inclination to want to travel with Saturn on Uranus right now. It's like, I just need to be free. I need to go. I want to go. I want to go. At the end of the year, it's going to, again, hit the Capricorn. I think by the end of the year, you'll probably have a proposal. That's my inclination towards it. And also, once it goes into Capricorn and then Pluto's there, you're going to want to create the structure kind of where you are, because Capricorn likes to stay put. So even though I would say now take advantage of, you work for TSA, so I don't know if you actually have the ability to fly. Do you have any perks for flying, or probably not? You do?
I was just about to say that I remember a while back you made like a connection between like Great Britain and Capricorn, and the funny thing is that the guy that I'm seeing is from Great Britain.
Oh my gosh, lucky you.
He actually works for the airline, so I'm on his flight benefits. So even though I don't get him for my job, I can still fly with him. And he's a little younger than me, so it's like that was the first thing that was like the first hump to get over, is that he's a little bit younger. But
good for you.
He has like, his sun is right in between my moon and Venus, so it's like we're super connected. And then it's just funny because
and it's travel as well. Gemini's travel.
And then all of his like Pisces stuff is like good for my, like my Pluto and my sun and my Mercury. So it's like we have a strong connection with travel. Like that's another thing. We want to travel a lot together. Right. But at the same time, we have a very unconventional relationship. So I'm just like, should I just go or should I stay?
Well, definitely, I would say if you stay and Saturn goes into Capricorn, and since you mentioned the England connection, and he is English, I got chills. I would think that you may even have the opportunity to move to England coming up next year with Saturn going over your Neptune.
Yeah, he definitely wants me to go with him, like to visit, like because he goes back like every 2 months. So
yeah. Well, so that's what I think is going to happen. I think by the end of the year, if you stay put, you're probably going to end up moving anyway, and it'll be the long distance. And your Neptune, Saturn is on your Neptune, which is okay. Now it's time to own commitment, because that's the house it's in. So, yeah. And I've got chills all over. I'm telling you, I have so many chills with this. So I think that's what's going to happen. Anyway, Siba, I'm going to take one more call before the end of the show, and then the show's only 90 seconds left, so I'll have to go over time. But thank you for calling.
No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, take care.
Okay, bye.
Good luck.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay,
Hello.
Hi, 415. You're my last caller. What you got for me?
Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. Is this Jessica?
It is, yeah. Oh,
okay.
wow.
Great. Well, I've got you as 415. Although you could have been Emily, but I guess the right person.
Right.
So,
wow, yeah.
Okay, so what can I do for you?
Are you able to compare two charts?
I can, if it's fairly quick. What's the second one?
Okay. March 5th, 1985, 4:15 p.m., Naples, Florida.
Naples. Full. Okay. All right. And just real quick, I'm going to put in a connection to you so I can find it again.
Okay.
And let me see. Jessica.
I don't know if
is this
you're
a
able
relationship?
No, I don't know what it is. It was sort of
Okay.
like a friendship with some chemistry, and then it was like
Okay.
deeply karmic, and then
Uh-huh.
I haven't spoken to him in a couple of weeks. So
I see.
I'm just
So what is it you want to know about it? Because
I'm just
I don't have a
wondering.
great deal of time, but I want to do it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if are you able to see like if we're going to be coming back together again, like maybe in a friendship capacity or something?
Definitely a friendship capacity, I would say, is the preferred way because his Saturn or her, I don't know, is it a man or a woman?
It is a guy, yeah.
Okay. His Saturn is in your house of friendship, which means that's where the commitment is. But I have to say, your Saturn in Leo squaring his Saturn in Scorpio, I would just, yeah, I would leave it as a friendship. I wouldn't do any more just because it's not terribly good for sincerity on some level.
On his part, you're saying?
I don't know that it's necessarily a part in this type of chart because if it were one person having that single, like one planet squaring another in that area, I would say they are not to be trusted. But because it's the two of you, I think that you're kind of at cross purposes is part of what it is. You have Saturn in Leo, which is very gregarious, outgoing, friendly, childlike quality. And I mean, he does have Saturn in Scorpio, which is the ruler of the house that your Saturn is in. But I can tell you, Saturn squaring Saturn is not a fun aspect if you do anything more than friendship, because you have different life purposes.
Oh. So what are the two different life purposes there?
Conflicting life purposes. His life purpose is more about like analytical, breaking things apart. He can be very dogmatic, very like unbending at times. And you are more fun-loving, freedom-loving. You've got Neptune in Sagittarius. I can see he's got Uranus in Sagittarius too, a few degrees away, like 4 degrees away from your Neptune. But that also makes him very fickle because Sagittarius is a sign that needs freedom and is continually on the go. And Uranus is always seeking out new information and new curious things. And Uranus in Sagittarius is someone who is like traveling the world, just finding the next interesting thing. They're not stagnant. They don't sit still very long. So, I mean, I can understand why that would be. And Uranus also rules the house of friendship. And that's connected to your Neptune's, and your Neptune's in the house of friendship. So definitely I see him in a commitment, long-term energy as being more of a friend than anything.
Right. I mean, do you see him changing as far as like he hasn't really
all
put
the time,
any effort
constantly? I see him changing constantly.
But he hasn't put any, which is I actually like that because I'm changing all the time too.
Okay.
But he hasn't put any effort towards any sort of relationship towards us at all, like even friendship. Which is, I mean, I know he has like a lot of stuff going on in his life, like a lot of chaotic things to take care of and healing. But like no effort as far as like even, I don't know, like, I mean, I don't know if this is just something that he's going through right now.
No, he's got Jupiter is self-interest in the sign of Aquarius, which is detachment. So he's detached and self-interested. He's got Uranus in Sagittarius, which is the opposite of that, because the ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So he's got both planets in mutual receptivity, meaning each is in the other sign, and they're both very much about doing his own thing in detachment. He also, on top of it, has Sun in Pisces and Mercury in Pisces. Mercury at 27 Pisces. He's going to get Venus going retrograde is going to be right there. So you're probably the Venus retrograde coming into his life with his Mercury in Pisces. You're the one who's coming back up from the past, the female coming back up from the past for him. And it's communications, his Mercury last degrees of Pisces. But Pisces is very uncommunicative. They live a lot in their minds and their spirit. They're not as chatty. And then he has Venus-Mars conjunct in Aries, and right now everything is on that for him, so, and including Uranus. Mars is conjunct Uranus right now. Uranus is at 23 Aries. his Mars is a 23 Aries. His chart screams self-interest and doing his own thing. He's about himself right now. It screams that. It's not just like,
so does
oh
that
yeah,
ever
there's a
change
transit. It's
for
like
him, or
everything.
is that always his deal?
I think that that's kind of always his deal, because his Uranus and Jupiter are going to be, Jupiter takes real long to go through a sign, and it's in Aquarius early degrees, which means he's always going to have Jupiter in Aquarius. He's always going to be pretty detached and into his own thing, and also very transient. Same with Uranus. I mean, those two right there. This is a guy who I see traveling all over the world, making oodles of friends. Everybody loves him. He's very gregarious, outgoing in a certain sense as a friend, but he's got a very private side that he doesn't necessarily share, which is his Sun in Pisces and his Mercury in Pisces. He's very intuitive in a lot of ways, but he just kind of keeps it light and keeps going. He does have a sexy side. I mean, Venus, Mars conjunct in Aries. I mean, the guy's sexy. No two way. And he's got Pluto and Scorpio. I would also say that because he has his natal Vesta, which is a difficult woman, or usually a difficult woman right near his Pluto, I think he sees women as being difficult. I think he's got some issues, and he has Saturn and Scorpio too. Scorpio is a feminine energy. I think he definitely sees women as probably more effort than he wants to deal with. And on top of it all, his moon is in 28 Leo, squaring his Saturn at 28 Leo, which is, I mean, this is a guy who, if I would just read his chart, I would say he could be a very good con man. That is strong in his chart, and he cons women because of the moon at 28 Leo. I don't think he has a great deal of respect for women, honestly.
He doesn't know how to. He doesn't really know how to communicate. He's very naive with a lot of things. Like, he doesn't know how to do a lot of things. It's a little strange, like very, very naive and young feeling.
Right.
Is this a guy that just doesn't get married because he's such a wanderer, or to himself?
Well, I tell you, when I see Sagittarius, when I see Jupiter and Uranus and Aquarius and a lot of Pisces, if he does get married, he might do something multiple times. But usually that's like a Venus or a Neptune in Pisces. But Venus conjunct Mars in Aries. So when you have Venus and Mars together in a sign, there isn't as much impetus for the person to find somebody else of a partnership situation, because they already kind of complete their own masculine feminine roles. The feminine is right next to their masculine, so they kind of look to themselves to fulfill their desires, and they take action on it because they're so close together. When you have a Venus and Mars separate, then you're always looking for the other half to complete that energy. But he really has it together in his chart, and not only does he have it together, he has it in Aries, which means first sign of the zodiac, very self-driven and very masculine. So he really, I mean, his chart it just really says this is a guy who's about his own thing, and he's doing his life for himself, and that's kind of his life purpose. I mean, like, let me see, Saturn in late degree Scorpio, which means he's only a couple degrees away from Sagittarius, which means by progression, his Saturn will be in Sagittarius, which is commitment to freedom. And it is a player energy. Sagittarius just likes to play. They're the playful sign. They just go person to person. So
wow.
I would not, if you have any illusions about this guy being a committer, he's not going to commit. I can tell you his chart screams transient, self-interested male who is very attractive to women, absolutely not the material. If you're looking for a committer, there's no earth in his chart. He's not looking for anything tangible.
Yeah, it's kind of questionable whether he has that dream or not. I mean, he hasn't even tried to pursue anything like romantic, like nothing. Like he has.
Well, he has Jupiter in Aquarius, and that's alternative lifestyle as well. You never know. I mean, maybe it's just not his thing. I mean, okay. I can't say for sure, but definitely, you've got Jupiter and Aquarius. Aquarius is alternative lifestyles, so you never know.
So you think that you're saying that if the Venus retrograde, I mean, we didn't really we weren't in touch for basically all of March, but the end of January we were, February a little bit. So you think that is coming back around again for the final?
When Venus goes back into Pisces, it conjuncts his Mercury, which is communication to a past love, which is, I don't know if you had a relationship with him or if you're just friends or whatever, but you're the female coming back in communication. And, there's that connection, like you basically fulfill that archetype in his chart. And so there is a communication and a connection of some sort, but you don't really have any planets yourself in Pisces. So there's not like, oh yeah, we have this. I mean, you said that his sun falls. What did you say? Were you the one who said his sun falls between planets for you, or no? That was the last call.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know enough about astrology.
No, there aren't really any direct connections. Like, he doesn't have a planet transiting over one of your love planets like Venus or Neptune or anything. He's got a close planet, but the close planet is honestly the planet of friendship. Uranus rules the house of networking and friends from career and stuff like, in the soul group. But it doesn't mean, his Neptune falls right on your rising sign, which can definitely make you feel like there's an ideal. I take it back. He does have Neptune in Earth sign, which is an idealized view. But honestly, it's on your rising sign, which means you see him in an idealized way. You really have rose-colored glasses on with this guy. That's kind of what I'm picking up for this.
Yeah, that's how I felt. And then I sort of feel like I recently woke up to it. Yeah. Came out of the denial, and I just feel like I can't make any more effort towards him anymore. Yeah. Like even saying hi or whatever, like I feel like he has to, exactly. I feel like he was just sort of taking so much, like.
Well, I can tell you probably had a relationship in a past life, because his Venus and Mars fall like on either side of your south node, which is past life. So there was some connection, but you might have been brothers in a past life, which is more what I'm inclined to think, that you recognize his energy, but it's more family connected. And Jessica, I'm sorry to cut you off, but this show is kind of way over, and I've got to get going.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Good luck with that.
All right.
Okay, take care.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, that's the end of the show. Come and listen next week. We'll be here again Tuesday, and have a great week and interesting stuff coming up on Sunday. So let me know how it goes. Bye. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at Ironwood